guys, welcome back to the channel. I just finished watching episode 10, I believe, of Breaking Bad season 5, and Jesus Christ, this episode was everything. Like, I'm still trying to, calm down from what I just saw. We're gonna do character by character. Let's start with Jesse. Idiot. It's always something with him. You know, he's smart for figuring out that Walt killed, Mike. He's smart for figuring that out, because I honestly thought he wouldn't be able to piece together, okay, Walt killing the guys in jail obviously means that Mike is dead, because Mike said he was going to pay these guys. So why would he then all of a sudden just be like, okay, yeah, kill him? You know what I'm saying? And then Walt just straight up lied to Jesse's face, like all crazy, like, Mike is alive. He is. He really, really, really is. You have to believe me. So he was saying that, against Jesse's better, mind. Ignore what you know to be the truth. I need you to believe what I'm saying, because I know it'll make you more sane. I need you to believe what I'm saying so you don't fuck things up for us. I need you to believe this, Jesse. And Jesse's like, sure, yeah, he's alive, right? But it was sarcastic. He didn't actually believe Walt. And we see towards the end of the episode, he's throwing his money away. He tried to give it to Mike's granddaughter and then the parents of the little boy who died, Andrea's parents. No, just kidding. Wait. The parents of the other little boy who died, who Walt's new henchman, his ex-new henchman, killed when they were stealing the methylamine. So Hank comes out of the bathroom. He steals Walt's book. He letter matches. You know, everybody has their own penmanship. Everybody has their own unique penmanship. What I noticed was that Gale had a specific way of writing his Y's. If I can find some scratch paper. Gale wrote his Y's something like this. I circled it. He wrote his Y's something like this. And so not only was Hank tracking the, words that were used, my sun and moon and stars, whatever the fuck, WW, he's also looking at the handwriting. And it was very clearly obvious to him that Gale had written that for Walt. Walter White, you got me. This is what Hank does to protect the family. He does not want the case evidence being at work as he places Walt at the scene of all of these things, right? That's what he does to protect his family momentarily. He's probably thinking let me not jump to any conclusions. Obviously Gale wrote this, but let me make sure Walt fits in this story. Let me make sure of it, all of it. So he gets all the case files and he's going through everything, probably trying to put Walt, see, was there an alibi? Could he have done this? Blah, 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 blah. And he's sick with his stomach bug, doesn't go into work. It just looks like everything's coming to a head. But let's skip on Hank for now. Let's go to Lydia. Lydia's dumb, showing up at Walt's work. It's like she's supposed to be this cautious character, yet here she is showing up at Walt's job, and she's like, you need to start making meth again, or else you know it's going to happen. So I am curious as to what's going to happen if Walt doesn't get back into making the meth, because apparently the meth is 68% pure, because I guess just his henchman is over there making it by himself. And Lydia's like, that's not good enough. That's not what I was promised. You will cook again. And Walt's like, no, I'm done. So Skylar comes out and she's like, you need to leave now. Period. Because this bitch is dumb. She's getting a rental washed, which maybe that's not that uncommon, honestly. I would do that if my fucking rental was dirty and I didn't want to get fined or anything. Hell yeah, I'd fucking get my rental washed. But yeah, that's how Skylar figured out, this is someone odd. This is someone out of place. So she's like, get the fuck out of here, Lydia. So the family is all cute, all good, all great. Hank figuring out, putting 3 and 3 together, figuring out that Walt is Heisenberg, causes him to have a panic attack. And I just thought that was a really powerful scene because Hank cares so much about the family that he has a straight up fucking panic attack. He is in so much disbelief that the jolly old school teacher, Walt, could be fucking Heisenberg because of the atrocities that Hank did in the last season. You know, before then, it was about the drugs, right? It was drugs. Fuck, I can't get caught, you know, making these drugs. Now, not only is it the drugs, but he has caught bodies. Walt has so many fucking bodies. So many. And so it seems like Hank is just in the state of disbelief. He's like, what the fuck? Because as we get to the end of the episode, Walt is like, what's wrong with Hank? Like, he's been missing work for 5 days. Like, it's a lot. Like, what's going on here? Okay. So he goes outside, and it just occurs to him. Well, first he finds out his book is missing. You know, it'll turn up. Then he goes outside. It occurs to him, maybe I should check my fucking car. He checks his car. Lo and behold, there's a tracker under it. So I wonder if the tracker picked up him going to Jesse Pinkman's house. Jesse's so dumb. He's like, first he tries to give all his money to Mike's granddaughter, which they took her money twice. That is sad. That second time, I didn't think they were going to take it. They took all of it? Damn, that's sad as fuck. Like, the police officers really do be coming up. Like, when they take drug dealer money, that shit just goes right back into their fucking offices. Get them new cruiser cars, get them new office supplies, everything. I wish I was a fucking cop just so we can catch a drug dealer, just so I could pocket some of that fucking money. Let's be for real. Ever since I started watching Breaking Bad, every time I drive past a big truck, I'm like, there's probably like, either on some like Gus assassin type shit, there's probably somebody in the back of the truck waiting with a fucking AR-15, and or there's a bunch of fucking meth in the truck somewhere, and or there's a bunch of fucking money in the truck somewhere. I always have these thoughts. I even have dreams that I have like a lot of money just because, you know, watching Walt and Skyler. Anyways, back to what we were talking about. Jesse's like, this is blood money. I don't want any of it. You killed 10 prisoners. You killed Mike. I don't want this fucking money. I'd rather be poor. And like, yeah, but that does make everything he did this for meaningless. But when you think about it, Jesse was never really in it to get rich. He was just in it to get money for the next high, honestly. Only person who was trying to give like a lump sum of money was Walt for his family. But we saw that he just didn't stop there. And he even admitted to Jesse, like, I don't have my family. I don't have this. I don't have that. All I have is making meth. I'm not stopping for shit. And so you see, it stopped becoming about the family, and it became about what Walt can do to feel important, pretty much, which is really sad. So now let's get to Hank putting all this shit together. I'm like, Hank is finally getting his Death Note moment. Now, the music choice, when he was putting all the pictures on the little table in the garage, not a fan. I wanted some Death Note, fucking like some Ryuzaki figuring shit out type of music. But no, they gave you like some fucking hard rock anthem or something. I was like, what? Okay, fine. So then at the end of this episode, Walt goes to Hank's house. And now this is like a divergence point, right? I can already tell this is like, well, I'm not going to say I can tell because there's a lot of things that surprise me in this show. But I feel like this is a fucking divergence point. Walt goes in there with his sweet, I'm a good husband, I'm a good family man, I'm just an ex-teacher, I'm just a man who runs a car wash. He goes there with that attitude first. And he's like, okay, Hank, and blah, 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 like, hope you feel better. I heard that you missed some work, which is alarming. Did you go to the doctor? It's been 5 days. After 3 days, you're supposed to be fucking like admitted to the hospital. Hank's like, oh, I'm trying. But Walt can feel him clamming up. Like, he's not opening up to him as he usually did, right? Walt can feel that. And so I feel like that was the divergence point. That's when he made the choice. He walks out of the garage. He stops. He walks back in. Funny, because I found this, like, tracker on the bottom of my car. Looks like the same one we were using to track Gus, right? Remember when it was just the two of us? Yeah. Yeah. And so I do feel like this is partly Walt's pride. Like, I'm not just going to smile and wave about shit. I know you know something. And partly Walt just being like, okay, let's cut the shit. You know already. You know, and I know that you know. So let's have this conversation. We need to have this conversation right now. Let's do it. Hank's like, let's bring the kids over. I wonder why he said that, like to keep the kids safe from Walt or to tell on Walt to the kids. I wonder why Hank was saying that. And if it was to keep the kids safe from Walt, then I feel like Hank might deduce that Skylar is in on it. Not in on it, but she knows about it, which would make her complicit. So Hank sucker punches Walt and he's like, you're Heisenberg. You blew up a nursing home. You killed 10 prisoners. You crashed my car so I wouldn't go into the laundromat. You're Heisenberg. Fuck you. You don't give a fuck about this family. And Walt's like, no, I do give a fuck about this family. Ask yourself, what do you do for the family or some shit like that? And it really is this tense, all-out brawl. It's like Code Geass. It's fucking Suzuki versus Lelouch. Like the difference of, the polar opposites. It was just an amazing scene. And Walt's like, I'm just an old man who's dying who runs a car wash. He's like, I have cancer. I will be dead in 6 months. I am doing chemo right now, and I am fighting for my life. You and I both know I will never see a jail cell. And I feel like Walt, I understand why he said that, but I feel like to some that would sound like a challenge, I'll never see a jail cell. Like, he could have been saying that to say, oh, I'll fucking die before this persecution, before the prosecutors ever get the case or whatever. I'll be dead. But I feel like Hank might, knowing the kind of masculines they are, I feel like Hank would definitely try his darndest to put Walt behind bars. I feel like he really would. 100%. And so what's left is, this episode starts with a play of the present of Walt by himself going to his house, his current house, which, in the present is ran down, ransacked. It's tagged in there, it's graffitied. No one lives there, and it's tagged Heisenberg. So obviously word gets out. And obviously it displaces Skylar and the kids. So we're just going to have to see what happens in the next episode. I'm so excited to fucking see, because the last line of the episode was Hank saying, because Walt threatens him a little bit, right? Walt's like, you're not bringing my kids here. That's what's not going to happen. Hank's like, I don't even know who you are. I don't even know who I'm talking to right now. And Walt's like, well, if you don't know who you're talking to, you better tread lightly. So shit's heating up. I thought shit was hot when Skylar found out. Shit is triple hot now, because now they actually have to confront Walt's crimes. They actually have to confront Walt's crimes. So this next episode is going to be so fucking interesting. Will Hank ruin the family by telling the kids and telling Marie? Will he? I don't know, and I'm just so fucking excited to see. I feel like Walt's not going to tell Skylar, oh, Hank knows, by the way. I feel like he's not going to do that because she's already stressed enough. She's given up. She threw in the towel. She's done fighting. She's just, okay, sure. Whatever you say, Walt. She's just waiting for him to die. She really is. And I had one other thing to say. Oh, was that a divergence point? Like, will I, in hindsight, like once this series is over, be able to say, if Walt had just turned away and not brought up the tracker, could things have been different? And I am so excited to find out the answer to that question. So I'm going to watch another episode.